Happy New Year, everybody. Phantom Car here. Pokemon Crystal with One Sailing was a lot harder than expected from beginning to end, with a huge lack of move diversity being the biggest pain. But it was still a great holiday special run to do, so let's follow it up with our first full team run. Today we ask, can I beat Pokemon Leaf Green as Team Rocket? Now when I say Team Rocket, I'm not meaning just any Pokemon used by the grunts and admins in the game, but I decided to take the most iconic trio and pull their team, and between the three of them, we have 5 Pokemon. For this run, we have Meowth, Arbok, Weezing, Lickitung, and Victreebel available. We don't really have any glaring weaknesses here. The ground weakness is covered by Victreebel, and Lickitung being a normal type is going to give us tons of move variety, but the stats of them will all be a bit all over the place. Aside from our starter, we don't get our next teammate until before the fight with Misty, where we get Arbok and Bellsprout. By the way, Bellsprout's a Leaf Green exclusive, so that's why we're doing this run in Leaf Green. Weezing is going to be a later addition into the team, coming at Cinnabar Island. Lickitung isn't available until an in-game trade for a Slowbro west of Fuchsia City. Just like always, I'll be writing the scripts as I go through the challenge, so everything here has been written before I've even started the run. Actually, go ahead and leave a comment if you think we'll be able to win this one. I have no doubt that this run will be possible, but since it is an odd group of Pokemon to use, it'll be a quite fun team run, especially with taking down Team Rocket, even though we are playing as 2 of the most famous members of Team Rocket. Now let's go over the rules. In battles, I'm only allowed to use Team Rocket's original team. I may need other Pokemon for HMs, but I'm not allowed to use them in battle. No glitches or exploits. No items in battle, only held items and Pokeballs. Items outside of battle are okay. Also, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. And a bonus rule for this challenge, we have to have all 5 Pokemon before the Pokemon League. Right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Meowth. That way we can use them the whole run. I replaced Bulbasaur because that will give the rival Charizard at the end of the game. And with naming our rival Ash, I thought it was only fitting to give the rival one of Ash's most popular Pokemon. Looking at our stats, we have a neutral nature, so no extra stat bonus, but that's fine. We have pickup with Meowth, so we may end up getting some interesting items throughout the journey. But we learn Bite at level 11, so we won't be totally walled by Brock in the Rock Gym. I do a bit of grinding to hit level 10, and then I decide to give the optional rival fight a shot, just to see how that goes. I only get 1 attempt, so this is where I decided to try it while I was around and had the chance to. Speaking of level 10, when I leveled up and hit level 10, I learned Bite, despite seeing that it was shown as level 11. I guess that was just wrong on the site I was looking at. On to the rival fight. Let's see if we can take down this twerp. Pidgey starts off with Sand Attack, so we're more likely to miss our attacks, and it takes 3 hits from scratch to take it down after missing a few, and we go into the fight with Charmander at just under half health, thanks to missing attacks on Pidgey. Charmander hits us with 3 scratches, and we miss 2 of our attacks in a row, and by the time we hit one, we're only at 3 HP, so the last scratch takes us down. I know Pidgey has Sand Attack for a while into the run, but that won't be an issue once we get some more teammates. I actually had walked back to the rival fight and triggered the cutscene again to start the battle, so I guess this wasn't a one-time fight. I gave it another shot, but Sand Attack messed us up early on. We did get a lucky flinch on Charmander, but our health was too low to be banking entirely on critical hits and flinches for that fight. I make it to level 12, and this will be the last time I try the fight. Win or lose, I just wanted to give it one more try to prepare for the Rock Gym. Out first is Pidgey, who we almost take down 1 hit from scratch since we get a critical hit, but we do get hit with 1 Sand Attack, and then suddenly become unable to hit anything. We get low and activate the Oranberry that I guess we picked up, and we take out Pidgey. Out next is Charmander, and we don't miss a single bite. It comes down to the wire, but after 3 bites, we win the rival fight. While taking a walk through Viridian Forest, I took a look at the pickup table and remembered that Gen 3 was the only generation where it didn't change based on level, so we have access to PP ups and rare candies from the start. Though it is only a 5% chance, that is after every battle. And on the last battle before we attempt Brock, I got an Oranberry. I'm going to keep that on for now and give the gym a shot. Wish me luck. Starting off strong against Geodude, we get a decent chunk of HP down in the first bite. Geodude then wastes the turn going for Defense Curl, and we flinch it with the next bite. And after one more, we take it out. Out next, we have Onyx, who hits us with a Rock Tomb, lowering our speed, and we're brought to 13 HP after a second Rock Tomb. But a critical hit from Bite and a flinch are enough to take it out and get us the badge. Now time for Mount Moon, and we're close to getting some more team members. While we're going through Mount Moon, I do get the Dome Fossil. I knew if I didn't say what fossil I got, there would be questions in the comments asking. Actually, ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Man, that is a bit that I love has expanded beyond the PokeTuber space. We get to Cerulean, and before I give the rival fight a shot, I run around to get our second encounter of the run, Ekans. And looking here, I realize another mistake on my end. Ekans is a Fire Red exclusive, and the reason why we're playing in Leaf Green is because Bellsprout is a Leaf Green exclusive. So I have an idea. I'm going to go get a copy of Fire Red up to this point and catch an Ekans and trade over so we have it for the run. And after a quick trade, we have our Ekans, not an ideal nature, but we do have Intimidate. Let's bring it up to a level a bit closer to Meowth before we take on the rival. Now onto the rival on Nugget Bridge, we start with Ekans just to paralyze Pidgeotto with Glare, but we miss one, and then we miss Wrap and get hit with several sand attacks, so I switch out for Meowth. Pidgeotto goes down after a few hits from Bite, then out next is Rattata, who doesn't take much to go down at all. It does hit us with Screech, lowering our defenses, but a few hits from Payday take it out. And out next is Charmander. I switch into Ekans to try and paralyze it, and I miss the first Glare again. But after it's paralyzed, I switch into Meowth to take it out with Payday so we can get some more money from the fight. Out last was Abra, who can do literally nothing, but goes down in one Payday, winning us the fight. While going through Nugget Bridge, we get our first evolution. Ekans evolves into Arbok, who's going to be a massive help having a fully evolved Pokemon this early. I did check to make sure I wasn't missing out on any moves, so I'm all set for the evolution. And shortly after, I got my next encounter, a Bellsprout. I don't want to grind these here since it's a lot of flying type Pokemon, so I'm going to go through to Bill, get an SS and ticket before I give Misty a shot. On to Misty, it went almost perfectly. I was able to match Staryu's Hardens with Growth so my special attack could go up. In this generation, all grass moves are special attacks, so after getting 3 Growths off, it takes 1 use of Bullet Seed to take out Staryu. Out next is Starmie, who we don't outspeed, so we get hit with a Water Pulse first, but we get a critical hit on our first Bullet Seed doing big damage. The second doesn't quite take it out, and I know Starmie has Recover, so I hope it's going to go for Recover so I can hit it with a Vine Whip. But it goes for Water Pulse, taking out Bellsprout. We switch into Meowth to get a few Paydays off, and then after it uses Recover to about half, we hit it low with Bite, get a flinch, and after one more bite, we take it out. Now while we're heading over to the SSN, I did just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I loved that there was just a ton of support on the videos before. I really appreciate it. I didn't get a chance to say in those videos how much I appreciated the well reception of them. It was honestly really good to see. I definitely enjoyed it, and I am glad you guys like them. And in the new year, I hope to get just as many, if not more, challenge runs out per month. The goal is going to be to start out with at least 3 a month. We'll see how that goes, and then maybe we'll do some challenge runs in some Gen 6 and up games. We don't know. But now on to the rival fight on the SSN. Starts out with Pidgeotto getting Sand Attack off, and I decided just to switch to get my accuracy back. I hit it with a few bites to take it out, and out next is Kadabra, who goes down in 2 hits from bite. After that, we have Raticate, and I switch into Meowth, who almost gets taken out by a Hyper Fang, but we go down to 1 quick attack. We switch into Arbok and then take out Raticate. Finally out last is Charmeleon, who we hit with another bite getting low, and then 1 more takes it out. After that, we beat the rival and we get the Cut HM. Right afterwards, we go straight for the Electric Gym to see how we handle it. I take the time to teach Arbok Dig so we can hit for super effective. And surprisingly, that isn't enough. This took 5 whole minutes. I got Voltorb down in 2 hits from Payday, so that was easy. And we switch into Arbok for Pikachu, but get paralyzed on the switch. Meanwhile, I'm trying to go for Dig, and Pikachu is sitting in front of me just clicking Double Team. Eventually I decide that's enough, so I switch into Meowth, who can hit with Feint Attack to bypass accuracy. Out next is Raichu, who starts the Double Team strats again. We get it low with a Dig, but a Super Potion brings it back to almost full. I decide to try and use Meowth to get Feint Attack to take it out, and then tried poisoning it with Weeping Bell's newly learned Acid, and neither work. So Arbok is out again, and at this I'm just trying to take it out with Bite, but fail. Then the rest of my team all falls. Well, I think I have some Cherry Berries, so I'm just going to go in again leading with Arbok and just try to dig them into oblivion. And attempt number 2 goes perfectly. Voltorb goes down in 1 dig and tries to hit us with a Sonic Boom while we're underground. Out next is Pikachu, who tries to paralyze us, but again we're underground and we get a critical hit on Dig to take it out with just 1. Out last is Raichu, who goes down another critical hit to get the badge. We did get paralyzed thanks to Static, but the held Cherry Berry cures that right away and we end the battle unscathed. After that, in a quick run through Rock Tunnel, we do have access to Lavender Town and Celadon City. I think I may give the grass run a shot now just because I've got access to everything. The first attempt at Erica doesn't go well. Starting off with Victory Bell, I try to hit it with Feint Attack, but we get paralyzed, and then it's fully healed thanks to Giga Drain. I switch into Arbok, who also gets paralyzed, but after several bites and a Hyper Potion, Victory Bell goes down. Out next is Tangela, who we hit low with 2 bites, but get paralyzed on the 3rd turn, so 1 last bite takes it out. Then is Vileplume, and this thing was rough. We got some bad luck with being paralyzed, so we didn't get much damage done to it. But to save Arbok, I switch out to Meowth to get a clean switch into Weeping Bell. We get paralyzed, and Acid does a good bit of damage, but we still go down. Out last, we have Arbok, who does go down in a single Giga Drain, and we lose. I think that maybe because our levels are just a little close and we don't have a lot of move diversity. While grinding between attempts, I went ahead and took a look at the moves we're able to learn, and nothing in our current party is really able to get anything that'll help. Aside from Meowth, surprisingly. We get access to Aerial Ace, so I teach it to Meowth while grinding. It took a while to get everything to about level 35 just to have a little bit of a level lead on Erica next time we try. And since we have Bite on 2 of our Pokemon, I went to Lavender Town to do some grinding on the ghosts, only to remember we don't have the item that would let us battle the ghosts, and also there's a rival fight here. Well, whatever, let's give that a shot. The fight goes surprisingly great. Out first is Pidgeotto, who we take out in 3 bites with Arbok, and we don't get hit with Sand Attack once, so we have full accuracy going into the rest of the fight. Out next is Execute, who goes down in 1 bite, and then is Kadabra, who does the same. Gyarados was a bit harder, taking us to 33 HP with Thrash, but we take it out with some well-timed flinches. And out last is Charmeleon, who isn't flying yet, so it just takes 2 uses of Dig to take it out, and we beat the rival fight. I'm wondering if I may as well just get the Silph Scope so I can go get the Pokeflute and then try and get Lickitung. But before I do that, I give Erica one more try. This time I start out with Weeping Bell so I can use Growth a few times to raise the power of Acid since it's a special move, and at least I can hit neutral on a lot of Erica's team. So between the fight and now, I did look it up. Acid is a special move in Generation 4 and beyond, so that didn't do anything but waste a turn. But we got Victory Bell down after a few hits from Acid, and we managed to burn her Hyper Potion. I let Weeping Bell go down so I can get a clean switch into Meowth, who has Aerial Ace, and it takes 2 to take out Victory Bell. On to Tangela, who lives 1 and hits us with Poison Powder, so we are on a slight timer. Then last out is Vileplume, and we get it pretty low with an Aerial Ace, but we go down to Acid. So we send out Arbok, and I know we outspeed, so we just keep using Dig to take Vileplume down and get the badge. Afterwards, our fainted Meowth tries to evolve, and I make sure that doesn't happen, and now we can use Strength outside of battle. So I think it's time to take on the Team Rocket hideout and chat while we explore. So I did take a look at it, and surprisingly I looked at the analytics, and actually 98% of people who watch aren't subscribed. So hey, if you're not, you know what to click. But all kidding aside, that's been a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone who took a bit to look at the videos. I do look at the comments and I try to answer as many as I can. And sometimes you guys point out stuff that I totally forgot. Like in the Dredagon challenge, you guys were like, oh, why didn't you use Return? And it was just because I forgot. That was honestly all it was. Up next is Giovanni, and we're able to make quick work of him. Out first is Onix, so we use Growth to get some special attack boost, but we are paralyzed on the first turn. We get 1 Growth off, and I switch to Bullet Seed and we take down Onix. Then is Rhyhorn, who falls to 1 as well, and out next is Kangaskhan, who we get brought to 1 HP and then are taken out. We switch into Arbok and we outspeed it, so I use Dig to bring it low after 2. And then when we're about to take it out, I play it safe and go for Bite to beat Giovanni. How's that for being the 2 worst rocket grunts? We go ahead and make it to the top and take advantage of the healing tile to do some grinding against the ghosts and the occasional Cubone. After that, we have a few battles up top to rescue the old man, and we get the Pokeflute, so we can head to Fuchsia City to get our next team member. On our way, we get the Good Rod and did some fishing to get a Slowpoke. After that, we just evolve it into a Slowbro and trade it for the Lickitung. Now after this, we just have 1 more team member to go. So let's try a hand at Koga and see if we can get our hands on Surf so we can get Coughing soon. Oh, and if you're curious why I didn't involve Weeping Bell yet, that's just because we don't get Razor Leaf until level 42, and I'd like to have that since we learn nothing once we evolve. Attempt 1 at Koga was close until the end actually. I was hoping to set up Growths to get a potential Weeping Bell sweep, but that didn't work out, because on what could have only been like 2 HP, Coughing uses Self-Destruct. I send out Arbok, who can use Dig on Muck, and then I see Minimize, and I know if I don't get lucky, I'm in for a long time. But it takes 2 digs and we take it out. I switch Bite for Stockpile so I can get some defense buffs later on if I need it, and out comes Coughing, who goes down in 2 hits from Iron Tail. Then we have Wheezing, who I was feeling good about. We're doing great damage and I got close, but then a Hyper Potion comes out, fully healing it. After some back and forth, we miss Iron Tail, and a critical hit from Sludge takes us out. I send out Meowth just for some neutral damage, and a Hyper Potion, and Hyper Potion number 2 comes out. And then Wheezing takes us out with Tackle? Why does it still have that? Anyway, we send out Lickitung to get poisoned by Sludge, and after a few hits from Surf, we get close to taking it out, but we just barely didn't make it. I'm going to grind Lickitung and Meowth up a bit, because right now they're just hit sponges, and also I have a Leaf Stone, so we can finally evolve Weeping Bell. After so long that I had to break the recording into sections, we managed to get a good attempt on Koga. Victory Bell starts off strong with 2 growths up to handle Coughing with a single Razor Leaf. Then out next was Muck, who I was just trying to get damage on. I got 2 Razor Leaves in before the first Minimize comes out, and it takes just 1 for Victory Bell to miss everything. I send out Lickitung because I know Surf is special, and it may do more since they set up Acid Armor. But then Muck just uses Minimize again, and we're missing Surfs like crazy. I switch into Meowth, who has 3 moves that bypass Minimize. None of them do great damage, and we get hit with Toxic. I decided it's best just to let Meowth go down and bring in Arbok, who's my best chance to wall this. I'm using Dig to fish for a critical hit or super effective damage. I get Muck close, but another Hyper Potion comes out. Muck keeps using Minimize and Acid Armor, not only buffing its evasion, but its defenses, so I'm just throwing moves at it. Dig after dig, Iron Tail after Iron Tail. This fight alone took me about 8 minutes of just back and forth, neither of us able to do any real damage. I knew this battle was going to be rough due to evasion, but I'm realizing that I don't have many special attackers since this generation has the stat system work based on move types rather than individual moves. I mean, Victory Bell and Lickitung I guess are close, but neither of them is meant to be when it comes to their stats. I think Weezing may be our best bet at a special attacker, just given I know at least in modern Pokemon it's a coverage machine. With Muck, it gets down to us having to use Acid, a physical poison move against a bulky poison type to take it out. But Muck stopped going for Acid, so I think it was either running low on power points because it started using Toxic against the poison type. And after so much back and forth, we finally take out Muck. Out next is another Coughing, and I switch Arbok out, but switch into a self-destruct. Weezing is out last, and we get it low with Surf. Then after a few hits from Acid, we manage to take it down, winning the fight. Man, that was rough, and I really don't think that any other battle is going to be as long as that one was. Let's just head to Cinnabar and get that last encounter. After a bit of running around, we managed to get a Coughing, and this will for sure help us out from here. I don't feel like rounding it up to be with the rest of the team, but what I do while I'm here is take on Blaine before dealing with the Team Rocket hideout in Silph Co raid. During the gym trial for Blaine, I decide to see how Lickitung Surf does against the trainers, and it does surprisingly well. I'm just happy to see this most likely won't be as much of us running our face into a brick wall like it was with Koga. On to Blaine, let's give it a shot. Try number 1 at Blaine goes pretty well. We take out the Growlithe with a single Surf, and out next is Ponyta. Ponyta also goes down in a single Surf, and then we're on to the 2 big hitters, Rapidash and Arcanine. Rapidash is out first and gets us pretty low with Fire Blast, and we almost take it out. I switch into Arbok to try and preserve Lickitung, and Arbok has Dig, so I can still do super effective damage. Rapidash is fully healed on the turn we switch in, and then we get hit with Fire Blast after 1 Dig. We also get burned, cutting our attack in half. We take Rapidash out, and the out last is Arcanine. I know it's just a matter of time, so I use Dig to get as much damage off as I can, but it's not quite enough. Lickitung isn't able to outspeed it, and neither is Coughing. I go out into Meowth just to get some damage off. I use Aerial Ace. Outlast is our Victory Bell, and I know I'm done for, but surprisingly Fire Blast doesn't come our way. We get Arcanine close to going down, but then one poorly timed critical hit from Takedown takes us out. That's fine. I think if Coughing was more than just death fodder, I may have been okay. That's fine, I'll grind and come back in a few levels. After quite a few more levels, we actually take the badge. Lickitung is at the range where Disobedience is a problem, so I switch out into Arbok. It just takes 1 Dig to take out both the Growlithe and the Ponyta. After that, Rapidash is out, it nearly goes down in 1 Dig. I use Acid just so it doesn't live on a sliver again if Blaine uses a Hyper Potion. 1 more Dig takes down Rapidash, and we're on to the Arcanine. We get hit with Intimidate, so the physical attacks do less, but I didn't think about it and just kept using Dig, where even if I had just switched into someone else and then back, I would have been fine. But I decided to keep fighting the Arcanine and chipping it down bit by bit. After a while, we take it down and get the badge. Now on to Silph Co, then Sabrina. Rival Fievel is up, and he leads with Pidgeot. I switch out into Weezing to see how much Weezing can do on its own, and after 1 hit from Shockwave, Pidgeot switches out into Execute. 1 Sludge takes Execute out, and out next is Alakazam, who sets up a Calm Mind instead of attacking us. Alakazam does go down to just 1 Sludge, and Pidgeot is back out, and I misclick and hit Smokescreen. But after that, it goes down to a Shockwave and a very not needed critical hit. Gyarados is out next, and also goes down to a critical Shockwave. I don't think that critical hit was needed. But last up we have Charizard, and I decided for fun I wanted to have a starter versus starter match. So we switch Meowth out on a Flamethrower getting low, and almost take it out in a Shockwave from Meowth, but a critical Flamethrower takes us out. I send out Lickitung to use Surf to get the KO, but I'm still dealing with Disobedience from being traded. After another miss, we take it out with Surf, and we're on to Giovanni in the next room. Giovanni doesn't put up that much of a struggle. Nidorino goes down in just 1 Dig from Arbok, and out next is Kangaskhan, who lives in Iron Tail. But we do get the defense drop, so 1 more takes it out. Then comes Rhyhorn, who goes down in an Iron Tail as well. And out last we have Nidoqueen, who lives a Dig to try and hit us with a not very effective Poison Sting. A Poison Sting. After that, 1 more Dig takes it out, and we take out Giovanni. How's that for the 2 worst grunts in the organization? Moving right along, we have Sabrina the Psychic Leader, and it's becoming very apparent that I didn't follow the intended line of progression for this game. Sabrina starts off with Kadabra, and I decide since I know Alakazam doesn't have great physical defense, I'll just use Acid on Kadabra, and it takes it out in 1 hit. Out next is Mr. Mime, who's giving us the weirdest look, almost like it's challenging me to hit it with an acid. So I did, and it survived, using Barrier raising its physical defense. Next turn, Sabrina uses a Hyper Potion, and acid takes Mr. Mime to half. After that, we get hit with a Side Beam for a third, but after another Hyper Potion and a few more hits from acid, we take out Mr. Mime. Out next is Alakazam, and I hit it with a single Iron Tail to take it out. And then is Venomoth. That doesn't really make sense for her to have, but Venomoth does go down in one Iron Tail, getting us the badge. All we have left is Giovanni and the Elite Four from here. On to Giovanni, who starts off with Rhyhorn. I decide Iron Tail from Arbok should be fine to take it out, and we'll be all set. But I missed the first one I go for. So after one more Iron Tail, Rhyhorn goes down. Out next is Dugtrio, who outspeeds us and hits us with Slash instead of any ground type move. For some reason. Whatever, I'll take it. One Iron Tail takes Dugtrio out as well, and then we have Nidoqueen. I know Nidoqueen has Earthquake and would do so much damage to me if I went for Dig. I stick with Iron Tail, and that's the smart move because it uses Earthquake several times before it goes down. But we do get taken down first, so I do switch into Victory Bell just to have some grass moves to get some health back. One Razor Leaf and Nidoqueen goes down. Nidoking follows shortly after with 2 hits from Razor Leaf, and out last is Rhydon, who goes down in a single Razor Leaf, getting us the badge, and now we're on to the Elite Four. On our way to the Pokemon League, I forgot we had a rival fight, and I don't know why, but I decided I wanted Meowth to do something. So I switched Meowth in against Pidgeot and just tried to take it out with Shockwave. I was hoping we could survive, but that didn't work out. I sent out Lickitung to finish it off. Out next was Rhyhorn, who went down in one Surf, and then came Execute, who put us to sleep. And I didn't feel like dealing with that, so I switched Arbok in to try and put it down with a few hits from Acid to bait out Alakazam. And it works! Alakazam lives a single Iron Tail and disables it before going down. Out next is Gyarados, and I switch into Weezing, who takes out in 2 hits from Shockwave. Out last is Charizard, who outspeeds us and takes us out with Flamethrower. I switch into Arbok and try to take it down with Acid, but my speed has dropped so much from Scary Face, and I have it in Blaze range, so it takes us out to a Flamethrower. We switch into Lickitung and live one Flamethrower to take it out with Surf, and now we move on to the Pokemon League. Before we take on the Pokemon League, let's take a minute to look over our stats. Last chance to guess if you think we can win. I'm feeling pretty prepared for the league, and I'm ready to take this on and wrap things up. Up first is Lorelei, and I decide to lead Victory Bell because most of her Pokemon are part water, so if I can just get a growth or 2 up, I can try and sweep with Razor Leaf and Giga Drain. Funny enough, that almost works first try. I would have been fine with just 2 growths up, but I got greedy and took a third before taking Dugong out with Giga Drain to get back the HP lost from Ice Beam. Out next was Slowbro, who went down another Giga Drain that was a critical hit. But then we're on to Lapras, who also goes down a single critical hit. See a pattern here? But out next is Jinx, and I get outsped and put to sleep. Then hit with a track and taken low with Ice Punch. We wake up and are immobilized by Love, so another Ice Punch takes us out. Weezing falls to a very similar fate, so I send in Arbok to try and use Dig to avoid the sleep. But Jinx goes for it again. After getting hit with the track, we're taken low while we're still asleep. We wake up and instead of doing damage, we're immobilized by Love. That's fine, I have Lickitung and Brick Break. Wait, nope, we get frozen and taken out. Meowth manages to avoid being put to sleep, but we can't take it out and we're just delaying the loss. I really don't know what I did wrong here other than horrible luck on the sleep turns. I have a Chesto Berry, I'll give that to Victory Bell and we'll try that again from the top. Part 2 didn't go great. I was only able to get 1 growth up before we get hit with Ice Beam, so we're playing catch up and missing knockouts, but Dugong does go down. One more takes out Slowbro and I try to get another growth off on Lapras, but we're hit with Ice Beam. I think I have enough to live, so I go for Giga Drain, and I don't, so we're taken out. Arbok finishes it off with a single Iron Tail, and then we go back and forth with Cloyster for a while. We just keep using Acid to try and take it down, and eventually it works, but it does take quite a while to go down after several defense drops. We do end up beating Cloyster. After that comes Jinx, who we manage to outspeed and take out with just 1 Iron Tail, and we beat Lorelei. On to the next Elite Four member. On to Bruno, and I forgot to heal, so I wanted to just give it a shot and see how I could do with what I had. Starting with Onix, who goes down in a combination of Dig and Iron Tail. Out next was Onix number 2, who gets us super low with a critical hit on Earthquake, but we just barely hang in there. We miss 2 moves and Arbok goes down. I switch into Lickitung to use Surf and we take it out. But out next is Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan then proceeds to Sky Uppercut the rest of my team until I'm left with just Weezing. Weezing lives a few hits and we even come close to winning, but after a full restore, we aren't at enough HP to make it and we go down. After a few more attempts, I finally managed to get one that went pretty well. Just like with Lorelei, it starts off with Growth and Razor Leaf. We get 3 up and I use Giga Drain to get some HP back. Out next is Hitmonchan. I almost go down to a Sky Uppercut, but 1 Razor Leaf takes it out. Hitmonlee takes us down with Mega Kick, and I switch into Wheezing for some poison. That way at least we get some damage over time. I swap into Arbok to lower their attack, and just as Hitmonlee is about to go down to Toxic, Bruno uses a full restore, but after 2 hits from Acid it goes down. Out next is Onyx number 2, who goes down in 2 Earthquakes from Arbok. Then finally is Big Bad Machamp. I swap into Wheezing to get Toxic going, so we put it on a timer, and we swap into Arbok for the Intimidate. That way Machamp will use Bulk Up to reset the stats. We get him low with Toxic damage, but go down. I send out Meowth because I know he'll go down to Poison, and Meowth gets credit for a KO for the first time since like Badge 3. On to the next Elite Four member. On to Ghost Trainer Agatha, and we can't really use Earthquake, so this will take a bit more strategy. And round 1 goes terrible. I knew Dark was super effective, but I forgot how weak Knockoff was in this generation. So I switched to Wheezing just to hit some Shockwave since Gengar set up a double team. Gengar does go down, and out next is Haunter, who tries to put us to sleep. We snap out of confusion but are put to sleep right away, and then we're taken out with a Dream Eater. So I switch into Arbok. I didn't have many PP restoring items, so I didn't use Iron Tail. I was just left to chip away at Haunter with Acid. I get hit with Curse, so I swap Victory Bell out and realize maybe by switching into Meowth I can get it to take itself out with Curse. And sadly that doesn't work out. Victory Bell is back out and we go for a few Razor Leafs to take Haunter down. But out next is Golbat, and my team is so worse for wear right now. I swap into Lickitung and do whatever damage I can since I've been Toxic Poisoned, and I switch into Arbok thinking Lickitung may have some uses later. After using Acid several times, Arbok goes down and Lickitung is back out. We finally take out Golbat, and out comes her Arbok. I know Victory Bell can't take the rest of her team out on its own, and we go down to a Sludge Bomb. Attempt 2 goes slightly better. I get a few growths set up on Gengar, but once the second double team happens, I just want that gone. It takes a while, then we burn through one of Agatha's full restores in the process, but after a while we get Gengar down and do almost lose Victory Bell. After that comes Golbat, and it takes 2 hits from Shockwave to take that down. Then she sends out Haunter, who's gonna be a pain, so I try to lower its accuracy, but we're hit with the combo of Hypnosis and Dream Eater. I send out Victory Bell and try to set up a Growth and Razor Leaf, but we go down. Meowth is out next, and we wake up after being asleep for only 1 turn, but only 2 hits from Feint Attack are needed to take it down. Arbok is out next, so I send out my own to hit it with Earthquake for the knockout. Last up, the final Gengar. We hit it with Iron Tail a few times and getting the defense drop, and after another full restore it just takes 2 good hits from Iron Tail to take it out and we move on to Lance. I've got some TMs on standby to change up my moves before Lance. I start off with Victory Bell to eat the Intimidate and set up a few growths to see how much I can do with Razor Leaf. I get 3 in and I'm debating setting up a 4th, but on that turn I end up going down to a Hyper Beam. So there goes that. I decide to let Meowth have a shot and Shockwave the Gyarados before we go down to a Hyper Beam. We switch into Wheezing and we take down Gyarados with Thunderbolt. Out next is Aerodactyl, who we take out with 2 Thunderbolts, no problem. Out next, Lance sends out Dragonite and I stay in. I taught Wheezing Hidden Power and I either have Dragon or Ice because it's super effective here. But after several uses of Hidden Power, we take it down. Dragonair is out next, so I swap into Lickitung, who I taught Blizzard, and we land 2 to take it out. Finally is the last Dragonair, and we miss the first Blizzard and live on a Sliver, but go down to an Outrage. I send out Wheezing, who uses Thunderbolt to take out Dragonair, and now we're on to the champion. Against the champion, I know he'll lead with Pidgeot, so I lead with Wheezing to try and take it down quickly with Thunderbolt. And lucky me, it only takes 2 hits from Thunderbolt to go down. Out next is Alakazam, and I just want to switch out of there as soon as possible so I don't take a Psychic. I switch into Lickitung to try and use Knockoff, but again I forget how weak that is. Lickitung goes down, and out comes Arbok, who after a few Iron Tails knocks out Alakazam. I switch into Wheezing after Exeggutor comes out, and I Toxic it while it puts me to sleep. I click Fire Blast hoping I wake up, and I do, taking it out in 1 hit. Out next was Rhyhorn, so Victory Bell comes in to take it out with Giga Drain after almost going down to an Earthquake. Out next is Charizard, and I can't survive this, and I can't afford to switch, so I let Victory Bell go down. I switch into Wheezing, and I use Thunderbolt to get it low, but I can't survive another hit. I swap into Meowth just to use it as death fodder to hopefully get to be able to take out Charizard with another. Arbok goes down, and last out is Wheezing, who goes down to Fire Spin. I wanted to give that another shot from the save, so I reload the save and go in for attempt number 2. Starting off the same leading Wheezing, but by the attempt you're seeing here, I had started from the beginning well over a dozen times, and it all starts the same. Until this attempt, where all I did different was use my last rare candy on Wheezing to hopefully get the Pidgeot to be a one-shot, and then switch leftovers over to Wheezing. And it turns out that was all I needed. Pidgeot still took 2 Thunderbolts to go down, but we made it to Alakazam with pretty high HP. Swapped into Meowth for a chance to get a Feint Attack or 2 just to sack it off for a clean switch into Arbok, who gets it low with Acid before taking it down. But then we go down to an Egg Bomb from Exeggutor. I switch out into Wheezing and take it out with a Fire Blast, and out next is Rhyhorn, meaning it's time for Victory Bell to come on out and use Giga Drain. After this, I know Charizard is coming out, so I let Victory Bell go down to get a clean sweep into Lickitung to use Rock Throw, lowering its speed. Then I switch into Wheezing, and we manage to take it out with Thunderbolt. And finally out last is Water Onix, who lives a Thunderbolt on what can only be 2 HP, and goes down in one more, winning us the run. And there we go, Team Rocket versus the Kanto region. That was a blast, and I'm really glad I gave a full team run a shot as my first run of the year. I've got another run already lined up and ready to start, so be on the lookout for next week when we take on Pokemon Emerald with 1 Squirmery. If you guys enjoyed the video or had fun, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I try to get these out as regularly as I can, and they do take a fair bit of time. And let me know down in the comments some ideas you have for challenges and what some of your New Year's resolutions are. I'd love to hear them. So that was an insanely fun run, and it definitely went a lot smoother than the Crystal run. The Crystal run was honestly all over the place, and it was a struggle just finishing it. But this one honestly wasn't that bad. It's been a while since I played Kanto, and I think my pathing on it wasn't great. But like I said, this is the first of a few runs I've got for the month set up, and up next we've got Emerald with Squirmery, and that's already turning out to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait for you guys to see that, and that's about it from here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.